Hey guys, good morning. Today we are going to discuss about Django models. As part of this health insurance project, every day we are discussing about each and every concept of the Django, right? So today our concepts are creating the models, configuring the model into the admin screens, and creating the foreign key in model, and adding the image field in the model. Now, I'm going to show you that health insurance model claims. If you look at on my screen, there are some of the important information we can see, right? So this is nothing but a data model for the health insurance claims. We have like hospitals, claims, patients, insurance companies, and staff, and claim processing stages. So we are going to implement this kind of model in our project. Okay. So as part of this one, I'm going to create today hospitals model. So basically it is a table. We are going to create a model for this hospital, like what is the hospital ID, name, details, and who is the doctor is referred to this hospital, and what is the status and hospital logo image, all these things. Extra fields also I'm going to add. So foreign key is the hospital ID, in the claims is the claim ID, and we'll see that a lot of things going forward, and you'll get more clarity now. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to create a model here. So before going to create a model, so already I run the command called python3 manage.py run server. If we go and execute this, I mean to say that when you run this command, you will see a text called hello welcome to HIC project. So before going to create a model, what I'm going to say that here I am actually given the just if we go to this, the views.py, we are actually rendering to the HTTP response. This is normal HTML text. I don't want to render to the HTML text here. I want to render completely to the HTML page. So instead of this giving this HTTP response, what I'm going to do, right? I'll give the written, okay, and render. We can write this code, okay. So return and render. So in the render function, we'll accept the three parameters. Okay. So basically I am giving the only two parameters in this case. So first one is the request. This is the first parameter. And the second parameter is you have to provide the any HTML page. So I'm going to give here index dot or like base dot or index dot, anything, any name we can give. Okay. So for example, I'm giving the base dot HTML. Great. So I need to create this base.html somewhere in my project, right? So what I'm going to do, right, I will create something called templates. So if you look at our diagram, okay, so not this one. So if you look at the diagram here, this is the main app. This main app URLs, we are navigating to the any one of the app, for example, base app URLs. In the base app URLs, we are navigating to the views. From the views, we are navigating to the models or templates. This is how we do normally, right? So this is the models. Models will communicate with the database. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to create a templates here. So far we know that models and views and URLs, but we are not yet talked about templates. But I will take the separate session on the templates in upcoming days, and we are going to discuss it clearly, like what is the templates and all. But just now, I'm going to create a simple template folder in our project, and we'll keep all HTML and CSS, whatever the user interface related applications or frameworks, all we can keep it into the templates only. So what I'm going to do now in the Visual Studio Code, go to this base app and create a folder name called the templates. Okay. So this templates folder, what I'm going to do, right, I need to set a first time in my project code. Only first time, guys. This should be there in the templates. You look at here, the templates here. This is the templates. In the templates, we have to provide the directory. So what I will do, right, we need to import first OS, and we'll say a command called import OS. Okay. So by using the OS, I can configure the where I created the template folder. See, I need to tell to the Django project, hey, I created the template folder in the base app. So how we can tell that one? We have to write a command here. Okay. So OS dot something like this. Okay. So we need to write, we need to set the path. So when you are setting the path, we have to provide the complete information, os dot path dot, okay, join function. So inside the join function, I need to say that, okay, base directory still here is the base directory, right? Till hic is the base directory. I'll copy this base directory here, which is already there. Base directory is nothing but till your project code, okay? An entire path will be copied here, the base directory. So inside, after the base directory, I'm using the base app, which is like internal app. Under that, there is a template. So basically we are providing the location of the templates folder. So we are actually providing the location of the templates folder. So os.path.join of base directory. So this is the complete path of your project. And here you can provide the base app slash templates. This is actually talks about like location of the templates folder. So what I'm going to do now in this templates folder, so in the views, I already mentioned that base.html, I'm going to create here in the templates, the base.html. So let me give this one, the base.html. This is done. What I will do now, we are going to write some HTML page here, right? So I will go to the Bootstrap. So I will go to the internet and search for the Bootstrap here. Okay. So Bootstrap and just go to this documentation, go to this introduction to the Bootstrap, and it will scroll down. There is a starter template here. You just copy this one and come back to this code, and base.html, you can just paste it. So this is the like a starter template of the Bootstrap. So that's where like I just copied this entire code, and now we can go and click this command, and you can see this hello world is there. So right now we are rendering to the HTML page, guys. So let me go through the commands again. So in this views.py, there is a view called index. So here I am actually rendering to the HTML page, not the response. In previous session, we actually what we have done, right? We return to the normal HTTP response. There we have the you can pass the text, or you can pass the any HTML code, something like this. But I don't want to go and write the code here. I want to write normal HTML code in the HTML page only. So to render to the HTML page, we are using the function name called the render. It is by default, which is imported into the Django.shortcuts import render. That's where we are rendering to this HTML. Okay, so don't worry about this at this moment, because we'll come back to these templates and we are going to write a lot of things in the HTML pages. And just a continuation of the previous session. So previously we used the HTTP response. Now I'm using the render function to render to the base.html. Okay, so this is not our concept today. Our focus is on the models. Let's go and talk about the models. So again, I will going to show you that. So look at this diagram. Okay, this diagram is actually like the complete architecture of the Django flow, right? So here I need to create a model. For example, there is no hospital app in our code, right? We are not created so far hospitals. Now I'm going to create an app name called hospitals. Then in that I will create a Python models.py. So I will create a models here, and after that I will configure that one into the admin screens. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'll go to the Visual Studio Code. I'll create a new app called the hospitals. Because why I need to create an hospitals, guys? If you go to this the data model, here we have the hospitals, right? So we have to create first hospitals. Maybe tomorrow we can create claims, and after the next day we'll create a patients, and again so basically we are building an application in our entire project. Okay, That is what actually I'm trying to do. So first, our focus point is on the hospitals, how to create and all, right? So first, let me create an app. So to create an app, which is we have the command called like Python. Okay. So what I will do, right? Command K. Here I am writing Python 3 minus.py. So what is the command to create an app? Is a start app. And what is the app name is hospital. Okay. So hospital is the app name. So I'm going to create a hospital app here. So let me go and run this code. So you can see when I run this code, there is a hospital is created here. This is an app. So in here we have the models, test, views, admins, and everything. But I'm going to use this. I'm going to close this one. I'm going to use this models.py to create a models, right? But before that, whenever you create an app, we have to go to the settings, and especially in this, again, right? Let's go down. Here we need to register our app. So previously we created app name called Basia. Now I created the app name called hospital. I'm going to add this hospital here. This is nothing but registering the our apps. Okay. So exactly the same name you have to give, guys. Don't give the wrong spellings and again it will be a problem. So same spelling exactly, whatever the app name you created. So I registered app now. So the basic step is completed. We created app, we registered the app. So what is the next important thing is that we need to create a model. Okay, let me save this file and go to the models. Here nothing is there. I want to create a model here. So how to create a model, guys? It's a very easy way we can create it. But when you are going to create a model in the Django, we use the concept called the inheritance. Okay, here inheritance concept will come, right? So what is the inheritance, right? We take the class name. For example, I'm going to create an hospital. Okay, hospitals basically. Okay, or hospital we can take. In this hospital, what I will do, right? So models dot model. So hospital is actually, this is kind of what I can say the model name, but we have to inherit this one. So this models dot and model class. So model is the root class which is provided by the Django itself. If you want to create any model class in our Django models, we have to import this one, the models dot model, which is actually providing by the Django itself. Then only we can call it as the, now the hospital is the model. So after that, we need to create some columns. For example, I need to create the columns names in this table is hospital ID, hospital underscore ID equal to, then we can write here the models dot in integer. Okay, this is basically an integer field we can write here. Or else we can say that hospital name. So name is equal to the models dot and char field. This is the char field. So we have to mention the maximum length here. Okay, so I'm just mentioning the maximum length is equal to hospital name should not be more than 50 characters. I'm just going to mention like this. Okay. And also we have the slug field. I will explain you this one. What is the slug field in shortly. So slug field, and this slug field also I'm going to add it here. The maximum length is the same like 50 characters. Okay. And also I'm going to add another field called the address. This is we'll have some more extra data. So models dot, this is the text field. So let me keep it the as it is here, right? So I'm creating the columns for each table, but we are writing in the Python code. This is going to be created in the database. This is going to be created as a table in the database basically. Now address is equal to models dot text field. Then we need to add some more information. For example, if you want to date, so updated date, this hospital information updated date, or we can say that something like this. So models dot, okay, date time. Okay, so we can write like this, date time field, or I will take the date time field. So inside this we need to mention this. Okay, what is the date and time, and so basically what I am going to do it, guys, I'm creating the columns here for each column, which is going to be stored into the, each column is going to be stored into this table in the database. Okay, so I need to mention this default one. So default is equal to, and we need to import the date time show. So from and date time. So this is the date time import. This is the package actually from Python itself. So datetime is the package, right, which is a library. Okay, the module which you are importing now. From datetime import datetime. This datetime I'm actually giving here. So default date time we need. So I'll give this now. Okay, this is how it goes, guys. Okay, and we can say that this one is the update time, something like this. Okay, so update date or like update time or something like this. We can provide it here. Now I want to add an image here. So for example, hospital logo of the hospital. So hospital logo, this is called image. This is actually an image. So I will put it here is the image field, and inside that this image should be uploaded into the somewhere, right, in our code. I will say that okay. Now the control Z upload to is equal to say that this is there in the somewhere in the images. Okay, images, this folder, and we need to store here. For example, you need to store all these images into the hospital. We can put here images slash hospital slash this one, right? And this data is not really needed every time. So image can be a blank. So I'm going to put here the blank is equal to true. This can be possible, right? This data also null is equal to true. I will explain you that what is the difference between the blank and null in shortly. Okay, so this is the model, guys. There is a hospital, and I'm created the some columns here like ID, name, slug, address, update date, okay, and logo. And also I'm going to add something called type, hospital type here. So this is a little extra one. Hospital type is equal to then the models dot. We need to create here the foreign key. So I need to create first one more class here. This is the foreign key table. Okay, so I'm saying that this is the hospital underscore type. This is another table which I'm creating now. So here the models dot. When we're creating another table, again we need to create a class. That class actually inherit the models dot model. Okay, this is how it works. And here this hospital type is there, right? Have to mention the hospital type name. Okay, so here hospital, I can say that type underscore name, and so next one is the type underscore slug if you want to write it. Otherwise it is not required. Just you want to keep only type name, it's fine. Like when this hospital is founded, if you want to write, you can write it. So those are all not required. If you want to, you can add extra fields also here. It's up to you, like how you can elaborate the your project in the bigger picture. It is depends on you. You can write extra fields also. I'm going to now the type name is equal to models dot and the character char field. So here I'm just mentioning this. What is the name of okay, we can give the maximum this hospital type. Hospital type in the sense, is it government hospital, private hospital, or any other NGO hospitals? So some type we are mentioning, that is a foreign key basically. Okay, so I'm giving now the maximum characters is the 50. If you want to add the slug, we can add. This slug is different. So I will explain you that what is the slug field. So now slug field is equal here, the maximum length is equal to, we can say that again 50 characters. So now this hospital type is the foreign key which I created. I need to mention here in this foreign key label. So we are actually foreign key this one, and basically this is how we can create it, guys. I'm referring to this hospital type is the foreign key table. So this I'm mentioning here because this data is actually foreign key. So type is the hospital type. Okay, so hospital type, or we can say just type is also fine. Okay, but mention this H type. I will mention very simple way. H type is nothing but hospital type. I'm referring to the hospital type class here. Then we can mention. And one more important thing, guys. So we need to write on delete is equal to. Okay, so on delete is equal to then models dot and cascades. So what is meaning of this one? On delete is equal to models dot cascade in the sense, see, when you deleted the hospital type, the reference also should be deleted, right? That's called cascading. So we have created the reference in the hospital. when you are deleting the for example government hospitals, you deleted the government category, so then you will remove it, or else we can change this one. The type is nothing but the category, which category it falls. All right, it is a category. The best word is, okay, hospital id, the category, and that's nothing but the type. That's where this is coming up. So I want to create these tables in my database. So what I will do, right guys, I'll go to this pg admin. Let me open the pg admin now, and then I will show you now, okay, so how we can create this basically. So let it open. So I'm expanding this. If you go to this, the PostgreSQL admin, enter here the databases. I'll go to now, our database name is called the health insurance, if I'm not wrong. Go to the schemas and the public. So again, I'll go to the tables. We have only 10 tables here. What I'm going to do, right, I'm going to create a new table. If you go to this, these are the two tables. So what I will do, right, I am going to run the command called make migrations and migrate, right? So let me run that command here. Okay, so let me run that command. Okay, so python 3 manage.py, and you can give the command called make migrations. So you just enter this, and you can see there is a two models are created. If you want to check those models, you go to this hospitals, expand this migrations, you just click on this initial.py. Here actually we created the hospital type is one model, the another model is called the hospital. So it is actually preparing the script. Okay, so script is prepared, and now it is actually converting your HTML code. Okay, and this is initial.py. This migration is nothing but ready for the running these scripts into the actual database, right? Because if you look at this, here there is no tables, only 10 tables are there. We are not having any extra table. These 10 tables by default come up with the Django, but we are now just created the two tables here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, right guys, I'm going to run the migrate command. So make migrations. After that migrate command, just go and run this one, python 3 manage.py migrate. So all these are all the tables is again applied: admin, authentication, content types, hospital. So hospital is also is actually applied this hospital, so that means data is created. I want to go and refresh and see and whether this table is created or not. Yeah, there is a two tables are created. If you can see here, if you observe it or not, the table name is created in the like hospital underscore hospital, and hospital type is created hospital underscore hospital. So in Django, okay, I'm going to write here guys, just remember this one, this is very important. So table name in the Django, so table name equal to, and your Django model name. So table name equal to your Django model plus, or we can say like this, app name plus your Django model name. Okay, so this is how it will be created. Example, in our case, the table name, okay, I will tell you how the table name is created here. So this app name is what? Is, for example, app name in our case, it is the hospital. So hospital plus, what is the model name here? This one. So I mean hospital plus hospital. So but when you look at the database, there will be always underscore here. Okay, instead of plus, you can say it is an underscore, and here also underscore. So then we can say this is the complete name of the table. So I hope you understand now. So this is the table name is always created with the app name, underscore, and model name. Again, hospital type, you can see the hospital type is actually the model, and hospital is actually an it's an app name. So app name underscore and the model name. So that is where like we can see this table name will be the name will be allocated like this. If we expand this table and you can expand the columns, you can see there is 8 columns here. Again, you can look at this hospital underscore hospital type, and there is also there are columns is created here. But if you observe it or not, there is a default ID also will be created for each and every table. Not only these tables, guys, if you go to any tables in the Django, if you expand the columns, so almost all this ID will be created. So even so, for if you create any table in the future, all this, like we are going to see this ID. Okay, it is a default ID will be created. It's a foreign key and primary key. Now I created the hospital ID, but if you think, hey Raja, this hospital ID is given the normal one, can I make it this primary key is equal to true? Yes, you can just go and add this primary key is equal to true, because hospital ID should not be null and the hospital ID should not be duplicated, right? So what I'm going to do, right, again, I have to go and run this make migrations command, just run it, and because it is not saved, okay? So right now I have saved now, then you run again make migrations, it is detected. So what I'm saying that, so ID is already exist. So if you look at this, ID is already exist. When I assign the primary key to this hospital ID, then the default ID which is provided by the Django is removed. Okay, so Django is providing the default ID that is got removed. Then it is altered with the hospital ID, the primary key. So I created now the primary key for this. Now what I will do, right, I need to run this changes in the database, the scripts. So I will use the command again, migrate. Now you go and run this command. There is a changes is applied. You just refresh this hospital underscore hospital table and you see the column names. See, there is no ID here. So default ID is created, but when I give the primary key to this hospital underscore ID, that ID is gone. Now the hospital ID is the primary key for your table. It should not be null, it's always be unique. So hospital underscore ID, name, slug, address, update date, logo, and category ID. Okay, fine. We are done with this creation of this table in our database, but we need to insert the data, right? So insert the data actually can be done in the three ways. Either you can insert the data to the table, you can add this some data to this table, because this table is empty now. I want to fill this data. How can I fill, guys? There is a three ways. One is that ask user to enter the data, or another one is that manually you insert the data into the database, or another way is like in the admin screens, admin can enter this data, right? So what I will do, right, I'll go back to this admins.py and I will add these files. You can see this admin dot and site dot and register, and inside this you need to add the model which you created. So I will import the models now, the from dot models, and okay, because we created models, right, these models should be assigned to the like admin screen to enter the data. So that's the reason these models, whatever we have the hospital and hospital type, I'm actually trying to bring it here, okay, in this file. So hospital comma, and you can say that hospital type. This hospital, what I will do, right, I will add it here. Okay, so admin.site.register, then hospital. Now what I will do, right, I will go back to the our application and I will go to the admin screen here. Just you enter the admin screen, yeah, because our server is not up here. So let me execute the command called python3 manage.py run server. When I execute this command, the server will get up, and let me save this file and go and enter the same URL. Okay, what is the problem? Okay, there is no problem, but yeah. So this is the okay screen, welcome screen for the admin. Okay, admin page. So we enter the password to username. In my case, it is admin. I'm just logging to now. You can see here when I register that one hospitals, it is I am able to see this. When I click this one, when I go and click this add hospitals, I can see this hospital ID and the category. Category we are not added. I will add it in shortly. And the name, slug, address, update date, logo, all this information we are able to see it, right? How this data is coming? It's because of this single line. So we are just registered here. The hospital is the model which is you created here, hospital and hospital type. So you are registering in the admin.py. So admin.py is whenever you created the app, this file will be created. So in that, we are actually registering this hospital. It's not only the hospital, guys. If I go and give the same code admin.site.register of the hospital type, this is another model which I'm registering here. Just go and refresh the screen here. You can see at left side, hospital type is also created, right? So we got both hospital types and hospitals. Okay, if you think this hospital types is with underscore is there, I want to change that name, you can change it also. Okay, we can change the name of this also, like hospitals underscore types is there. I will tell you in later in shortly, so how we can do that one as well. So the main goal is like to create these models and assign these models to the admin screens. And if you want to add the data, just go to here, hospital ID 1234 and hospital. So basically your hospital category which is not there, I want to create hospital category here. For example, this is the government. So I'm creating now. So this government which is there, I'm going to add it here, the slug same only, click on the save button. Okay, right now you are seeing this is something like hospital type object. So if you want to that one to be changed, you can go to the models.py. We need to override the method. So what I'm doing it here, guys, if you go to this hospital types, we have some name called this is unreadable format, right? If you want to do, this is an object name, so we need to convert this object into the string. So for that, what we need to do, we need to do overloading the string. We need to do overloading the string. So what I'm going to do, right, I'm overriding, it's not overloading, it's overriding the string. What I'm going to do, right, str, I'm going to mention and the self, and this is enough. Then return the self dot and type name basically, right? So what is this, guys? So string overridden method. So this is a class. The class contains, these are the fields variables, and again we have the string overridden function. If we want to override the string, okay, string operators or something, we have to use the Dundle methods. So def underscore underscore string and self, this is the, you are overriding the string. So what actually does, right, it converts the object into readable format, right? A readable format, that is actually a string, right? So this is how it works, guys. If you look at here, I actually added this one, string self dot type name. So now I'm going to refresh this page, and you can see here the government, right? It's because of this small code. The same code I'm going to apply it here in the hospital also. Otherwise, you will see again a non-readable format. Instead of the type name, I'll give here the hospital name. I will give the name here. The best choice is the correct one is the name. I'll provide the name, right? So this is enough. Now what I'm going to do now, guys, I'll go to this hospitals and I will add extra data now. Okay, now 1 2 3 4 and hospital category is the government. Assume that this is the saying that, for example, New Delhi. Okay, New Delhi hospital, basically GOT hospital. Okay, I'm just going to write here. So this is a GOT hospital, and the same thing. See, what is the slug? I will tell you in shortly. For time being, you can just copy paste this one code. I'll in shortly I will explain this one slug. So New Delhi, I'm writing in the everything in the small letters, and you can just give here hyphen government. I can give here small letter. You don't need to write all these, guys. I will explain you this one. What is a slug? You'll understand in shortly. So I'm writing here address is, for example, Avenue Road. Okay, and this is and MG Streets and something. I am just writing it. I don't know any address here. So New Delhi, and here I'm going to enter the 560. I don't know, 10008, something like this. Okay, so we can mention this one, and after this we'll go to this. We can provide image also here. Okay, otherwise it's not required right now. If you look at the code here, images, I actually put the blank is equal to true, null is equal to true, right? So that's the reason I am not importing any image. Just for time being, don't include any image here. Just go and click on save button. So now you can see this data is got updated. right? So if you want to create another data, you can create, for example, you are creating the hospital is the private hospitals, you can mention the name here. So you say that the private hospitals here, private, and this I'm just writing here again private. Click on the save button, and you'll go to the hospitals. If you want to add any other private hospital to claim the, basically we are working on the health insurance claims, right? So we can add those claims here. Okay, so I'm going to add here is the private, then we can add hospital ID, and that's called like 222, and name is, for example, Manipal Hospital. Okay, Manipal hospitals. So this one is slug. Slug is something like only for the URL purpose we use, right? When you want to get this specifically this hospital information, we can use this slug. Slug is mainly for the URL. I will show you now. Okay, so this Manipal hospital is there. I'll provide the address here. For example, okay, so Whitefield, okay, something like this, and the Bangalore, okay, and we can say 560,048 or something like that, and this update date is there. Actually, this update it is by default is the today date only, but interesting thing is this date is got updated with UTC, but you can change this date also. I like that I can create multiple hospitals, guys. But what is the slug, if you can ask me? So if you go to the any websites and all, for example, if you go to the in like Times of India, okay, so I'm just going to click on the Times of India and go to the Times of India here, and go to any headlines. I will show you what is this one. Okay, click here to go to this website. So you click on this, any one of the link here. Okay, for example, I'm clicking this one, government sitting on the church pics. So when I click this one, you can see this is the title of the page. Am I correct? What is the title of the page? Sorry. Yeah, you can also take this one also. Anything is fine. So this is the title of the page. The farmers rally, tractor parade turns into the capital ride or something. The same title as given in the URL. This is a slug. You can see here the farmer space. It's basically same text only, which is converted into the slug. And when there is a word, right, each word is there is a space. That space is actually filled with what I can say that hyphen symbol. That is actually call it as the slug. Okay, so that's how we can mention this one, right? So if we want to populate the same data, actually we can use it when you are working on the slug. So what I will do now, I will go to this admins.py. Whenever I enter the title, I need to I mean, by default it should get updated. Okay, so what I will do, right, I will update it now. So we can write a separate class for this. That is the admin class, which is going to be useful when you are going to populate the slug. So let me write the slug, guys. So I'm going to create. I don't want to use these names like this. I'll put as a comment. I'll write the admin classes here. So class, and we can say the first one is the hospital admin. I'm creating the new class. So hospital admin. So inside this, so we can mention the what is the we need to import this. This is the admin. So admin dot. This is inheriting the features of the admin. Okay. So admin dot model admin. So then colon, and here is the list underscore display and equal to, so you can write here if you want any columns you can define it, but otherwise we don't. This I will explain you later, guys. I will talk about only pre-populated fields now, then we can discuss other things. So what is a pre-populated field? So this is a dictionary, and whenever you enter the name of the hospital, for example, you can go here, and whenever I enter the hospital here, I'm typing something that should be displayed in the slug also. So what I'm going to do now, so pre-populated field, I created the field name called the slug. You have to give the same column name in the models. This is the slug. You just copy this one, go to the admin.py, you just copy this again, slug, and this slug actually colon, this is a dictionary, right? So we need to mention the key and value pair. So then you can open the tuple, then which data you want to populate here. I want to populate this name, hospital name should be populated there. Then we can give this name, and after that the comma. So this is a pre-populated fields. So this is a custom admins class which you created. We need to register this one with the admins, right? So again, I'm going to write admin dot site dot and register. In this register, actually in this register function, we need to mention the both the model. So model is actually this hospital, right? I'm going to keep it here, the hospital. Then what is the name here? We can take the hospital admin. So this is the extra data. See, previously in this code, only we configured the hospital. Now I'm customizing the admin screens. If you're customizing something with admin screens, admin or related informations, that also can be added into the second parameter, but this is an optional, right? And anyway, I will keep this hospital type as is for time being, then we can add it later. So if you go back to the screen, you can refresh this. And for example, if I'm typing here anything, you can see at the slug, automatically it is getting populated. And also if there is any space here, that space is actually filling with the hyphen symbol, right? So for example, if I say this hospital name is Niemann's Hospital, right? So, or we can say that some name, guys. Okay, Bollineni hospitals, okay, Hyderabad. For example, it is there. So every word is actually separated by the hyphen by default. So we can create this one. This is a private hospital. I will put it as a private hospital. This is a 3-3. Then we can mention this one is the same thing. The Bollineni Hospitals, Hyderabad. This one is, I'll copy paste this one. This one is the address, #333. And we can say here some address, like we can put it as the Hyderabad. And this is something like, so we can create 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, some address. You can just click on the save button, right? So like that, we can create multiple hospitals and multiple hospitals types. But right now we are seeing everything on the admin screen, but this information is admin is filling it. But admin can actually like submit this data to the users also. We can display the same information in the user screen by tomorrow. So what I'm going to do, right, this user screens we can display directly at the user level. But there is something which is I'm not discussed yet. Let me talk about that one. There is something like logo. This logo is actually storing into the images, right? So what we can do, right, we need to configure this one images. So what I will do now, I need to create a folder here. Okay, so in the HIC project, I'll create a folder name called the images. Even if you're not created, automatically it will be created. Okay, even if you're not created. So I'm creating the images here. All images will be there in this image folder. And if you are not creating a hospital here, automatically hospital folder will be created. But we need to do some settings, guys. If you go to the scroll down, any image if you want to save in your path, we have to use the media. So let me go to this website, this Django documentation. They are clearly mentioned if you want to store an image, and we need to follow these some media files configurations and each and everything. So I'm going to mention you need to add this extra thing also there. Okay, so this also we are going to add it, and I will show you. If we're adding the media roots, we can add the media roots like this. So media is like images. Okay, all images we can keep it into the media file. So instead of this images, what I will do, right, I will create this folder is the media, and inside that I will keep all the images, videos, and everything. Right now, this is a media folder. In this media folder, I will send all the information. So I mean, all the images and videos, everything will keep it there only. Now what I'm going to do, right, I'm going to configure this media URL. Take this entire thing, just copy paste, and this is the media URL. We need to specify to the Django every time, otherwise Django won't understand where this media folder is there, right? So media underscore URL, that is where, like, instead of static we can say it is a media. So yeah, this is how it is. And we need to mention the root also, because don't know, right, where you created the folder here. You have to mention this. So media root is equal to OS. We already imported the OS module. So import OS module is already done. OS dot path dot then join. So in the join, we'll mention this base directory. So base directory is actually like our entire project, comma, and you created the a folder name called the media. So we can enter the media here. This is enough. We can create it actually. Okay. So once we created this one, what I will do, right? This is done, okay? But there is in the main URLs, we need to add this media. So this is how we need to add, guys. Just you can copy paste this and go to here and the main URLs you just put here from django.conf import settings from django.conf.urls.static import static. So basically what we are doing, right? Whatever the media settings you have done here to store the images, the same settings actually, because URL you are configuring here, the Django is saying that when you are uploading any images or something and in the media, so you have to provide that URLs, this configuration we need to provide. Otherwise it won't store the data. So I'm going to use the same thing here. So plus is already there, right? Second line, done. Right. So what I will do now, I'll go back to the my project, okay, in the hospitals. So I'll click on this hospitals and go to the any one of the hospital. And for example, when in a hospital, you go to this here, you select any image. Okay. Example, I will go now, select the some image. So I'm selecting this some image, guys. Maybe this is not relevant image, but I'm selecting it just for showing this. When I click the save button, this image is got saved. And if you go and open this one, there is an image, right? But how can I confirm this image is actually stored into this? Okay. If you can see in the media file and inside this, there is an image folder because we are giving the same, right? If you go to the models, we are given the same name here. So images slash hospital. So that's how it is created here. Media, images, hospital. So it looks like you are seeing this path like this, but if you created multiple folders in this media, that will be go off. For example, I'm creating the test. So you can see this will be gone, okay? So here, even if you create another folder in this images, for example, test, and no problem. So we can see this media and images and the hospital. So basically folder inside the folder, again, the image is created by default. Okay, we don't want this test. I'm just mentioned that one, how this looks basically. This is not required. Okay, this is not required to be created. Okay, so this is how we can create a model, guys. But tomorrow what we are going to do, right, we will bring all this information into the UI screen. Right now this is admin is updating this hospital information, but end user wants to see this information, right? We need to create separate HTML pages and showcase this data to the user. See, every admin, see, this is a application who is handling this. This is a HIC is the project name. This HIC project is handled by some admins. Admins are updating this hospital informations. So what we can do, right? Whoever is going to any insurance third parties are using this application, they can look into this information. What is hospitals, hospital types and all. So we are creating a database here. This database will give it to the insurance claims third parties, and third party people, they will use this product basically. For them, we don't give an access this, we will directly give an access to the user interface. Like if you go to this view site, I'll create tomorrow here the hospitals link. When you click that link, it will display all the hospitals. Okay, so that's how it's going to be tomorrow. We'll experience that, how to display this data in the user interface, like in the UI, rather than looking into the admin screens. That is what our target tomorrow. Tomorrow class will be very interesting because we are going to show this data into the user interface. Okay, please practice this one. If anybody have any questions, please let me know. I will fix your issues and I will give you that more idea about how these models can be created. But we are going to create a lot of models in upcoming sessions. That by the time we'll be get more clarity, like what is this? Models are nothing but a table scripts. You are creating a tables in the database. So for example, okay, I'm not verified it here. You can go on this hospitals. You can see view all rows in the database. The data is already created. You can see. is data which is actually inserted from the what I can say that admin screens. We have the hospital ID, hospital name, slug, address, updated date, logo, but we have created the logo, we are uploaded the logo only for the one record, not for the other two hospitals. So that is the reason this information is not there. And also we have the category. Category is like one is for the government hospitals, and two is it is a foreign key, guys. It's a foreign key to this the table which we created here in the hospital type. If you go to this hospital type, there is a data is already there here, like government and private. One stands for the government because the ID is actually the government, the private is two. If you go to the data here in the previous one, the one is for the government and these two records is for the hospital records, because there is a foreign key relationship here. You are not going to worry about anything. You are doing everything from the Python. So this is the diagram, basically architecture we use when you are actually working on it, right? We are connecting with the URLs to the any app URL, from the app URL to the views to the model. Actually, model is communicating with the database. So whenever you created the model, that is storing into the DB as a tables, right? And tomorrow, what we can do, right? We'll bring this data into the user interface. We'll experience that how it works in detail. Okay, so practice this one by today. We'll catch up tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining the session.